All right, so we're doing a reading around the short of not a lot of people have what it takes to be successful. And I changed my location because my desk just broke. But I just feel like there's this energy around people that haven't achieved the success that they want, expecting it. It's almost like that victim mentality where they feel like it just will never work for them, and that the people that are successful, it came easy for them. But they don't see, a lot of times successful people don't tell you all the failures, the blood, sweat, and tears, the disappointments, all of these things that came along with their successes, their achievements. Like a lot of millionaires have gone through bankruptcy. But they still have overcome it. So I feel like there's this idea around for people that they think success comes easy. Well, you're successful because you had support and you had this and you had that, and that's not always true. That's not always the case. A lot of times people are self-made and they really just got it out the mud. They really weren't out partying. They were saving their money. They were making wise choices. They were taking risks. A lot of successful people, you have to be willing to take risks, because if you can't change and adapt and grow, you're never going to succeed. Or you might have one incident where you take a risk and it's successful, but then you're too scared to take any risk after that. So you have one success, not a continual success. Life is about, the universe favors the bold, those people that are outgoing and willing to take risks. Even if they fail, they'll still get back up. They don't have that fear of not being able to get back up or putting themselves in victim mode and why me? No, they get back up and find another way. They don't give up. I mean, I can even talk about my job. Like right now they're going through a hard time financially, but it's like my boss is so influential, because regardless of the obstacles, he always has another plan. There's a plan B, a C, a D. Oh, well, we can branch out to this. Let's try this. Let's try that. He doesn't give up, and that's why his company, over many years, it's been like 12 plus years this company has been around, because through those obstacles he overcomes with other solutions. He doesn't get stuck on one path or one journey or one business. He's willing to expand and grow. And even when it comes to love, like when you're starting off a relationship, a lot of people get stuck in the lust energy, where it's like when you meet somebody, there's like these lustful feelings. You get to know them. You're like, oh my God, this person's amazing, da 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 da, and rush into it or have intercourse or whatever. Like, and then your feelings get hurt when that person isn't, when life goes back to reality and that person isn't obsessed with you, texting you, calling you every day, then your ego gets hurt. And I feel like a lot of times the issue is that people don't take the time to not let lust get them caught up in emotions, but also to really get to know somebody, because you don't truly know somebody within the first couple days. It takes months, even years, to really get to know somebody. Not saying you should wait years. I mean, you can even if it's after the second, third date, but just don't allow your emotions to put you in an egoic place, or for you to have assumptions about how somebody is going to love you or treat you based off how people did it in the past. Like, for instance, say in the past, within 2 weeks of dating somebody, they got you roses and were calling you every day and wanted to talk all the time, right? Which to me, I feel like is toxic. If that person wants to be on the phone all the time, you have a life. But then you have this new person that comes in and they only call you like once or twice a week, but they'll send you a good morning text here or there, but they're a business owner and they're growing and expanding, and you know that they're really just having a life, right? They're just independent. But because of this, you start becoming insecure and thinking, oh, they don't really like me. This isn't going anywhere. And you jump off and go to the next person, right? That's your assumptions causing you to let your emotions lead, and you to allow your ego to put you into a situation that isn't always what's best for you. So I just want to look more into this energy. Yeah. You know, it's funny because it's like luck is in your side. And if you can control your own fears, your own doubts, your own ego, this can turn in your favor, or it can become a karmic cycle. So it's like, which direction are you going to choose? If you're choosing a new direction and those relationships or those businesses or those ideas didn't work in the past, well, why didn't they work in the past? Not big, and you don't blame it on everybody else. What about you caused these situations not to work in the past? What about your energy? Did you get into a place of anxiety and you were like, F it, and you ran, right? Or you stopped responding, or with a business, you had one failure or one person write a bad review on your, for instance, tarot reading, I don't know. And now you're like, oh, I don't ever want to do this again. That kind of thing. Change your reactions to things. Because especially once you get bigger and famous, or I don't know why I'm hearing famous. Some of you might be trying to become influencers. But even with relationships, when people see you happy, people get jealous and they will try to sabotage that. I mean, even I've had friends where it's like their love situations didn't work out, so now they try to sabotage my own connections, or even take that person from me because, oh, he's a good guy, and if he's a good guy, I want him, type of thing. Which to me, I don't know why we're competing, but friends, people can be like that. That's why it's so important to keep this information to yourself. Like if somebody's constantly asking, oh, did you do this? Are you with them? Or did you do that? About your connection. Like, I feel like to me, that's a red flag. If you're giving the information, that's one thing. But if somebody's like overly trying to find out every detail of what's going on, something's not right there. Listen to your gut about that. And even when it comes to businesses, yeah, something's not right there. Listen to your gut, because somebody's trying to get you caught up in your thoughts and your beliefs, or take something from you. And that's the same when it comes to a business. Like there's this energy around, like, you have these great ideas and you start telling people about the ideas, and somebody trying to steal that from you because you just gave too much information, instead of just waiting until it all manifests and then like enjoying and experiencing. And I think the other thing too, with, I'm going back and forth, but with relationships, a lot of times friends also put their expectations or assumptions on us, and it gives us anxiety. Like, okay, if somebody's like, oh, well, did you go on the date yet? And you're like, no. And they're like, oh, well, that's weird or something. Then in your mind, you're like, okay, was I supposed to go on a date yet? Was this supposed to happen? Like, I'm confused. Like, should he be calling me every day? Why haven't I talked to him today? That kind of thing. But somebody keeping tabs on the person you're talking to, or the person you like that is too much. It's definitely too much. But there's really a need to really hold on to the long-term goal that you have, the long-term achievement. Overcome those obstacles. This might take a long time for it to fully manifest and fully grow, but just continue to highlight those small goals, those small achievements, so that you can keep pushing forward and have that excitement. Like, even for my tarot reading, it didn't do as, like, I guess I didn't do as much as I wanted to this year, but I still made more than I did last year. So that achievement in itself is what I need to focus on. Not the, okay, I didn't reach this point, but oh wow, I still reached this point. It was just a little out of reach, but that's amazing. But that was my expectations. Again, like, my expectations told me I should be here, and because I'm not here, the achievement that's like a little bit below it makes me feel like I failed. But really, it's way above where I was last year. So that kind of thing when it comes to like my business, for instance. Let's see what else. Yeah, don't be afraid. The universe favors the bold. Like, you can't be afraid to grab these opportunities and run with it. You can't be afraid to spend money in order to make money. You can't be afraid to, I mean, you spend money on food and going out and drinks and all of that stuff. That $50 you can put into stocks. That $50 you can put into a business that could potentially bring you back money. That food's not going to bring you back money, though you need food. The alcohol is not going to bring you back money. The weed is not going to bring you back money. Whatever it is. Comic books, comic books might bring you back money if they're collector's items, but there's really this need for you to also look at your budget. And especially right now, the way the world is, everybody's going through some changes in this recession. You need to re-budget. So look at your expenses, look at where you're spending, look at where you can cut back, and what things you need to keep. And how to better budget yourself so that you can create a savings or put money towards a business. You want to be putting money towards something that's going to give back to you. Or there's really no success there. You're just spending money and living on a paycheck to paycheck budget. Do you want to work a 9-to-5 for the rest of your life, or do you want to be an entrepreneur? You have to ask yourself, but you can't give up when one little obstacle doesn't work out. Sometimes it's just a redirection for you to try another way. Let's see what else. Yeah, you had the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles come out. So it's really continuing to feed what brings you joy, feed what brings you happiness, holding on to the long term. So if this is about love, like the other one could have been more about finances, not giving up when an obstacle comes, or if you're at a fork in the road, taking the path, and if you go the wrong way, come back to that fork and go the other way, right? Not giving up, being resourceful, being like persevering over the obstacles is so important. But when it comes to love, it's like the things that take longer, or the things that you have to work for, end up being what brings you the most joy and happiness. So if something in the beginning is moving really slow, don't take that as somebody is not interested in you, or this isn't going to go anywhere. Don't let your ego control, because it could just be that you're both really focused on work or other things, or creating a life. But I feel like women tend to love a lot quicker than men do. And that's why our feelings get hurt, because we're all in the minute we meet somebody. Whereas a man, it's like it takes them getting to know you and your personality and what you're about and what you have for them to then get attached to you. Like they're going to be more focused on their finances, or it could be vice versa. Whoever, it really depends on what energy you're in. Are you in your masculine, or are you more in your feminine energy? But don't give up on something that is taking longer than most, like connections that you're used to. Like maybe this person isn't rushing you, or isn't like pushing you to get intimate, or things like that. Like maybe they're inviting you out on lunch because they want to get to know you as a person. Like they're not saying let's Netflix and chill, they're saying let's go take a walk in the park, right? Don't take that as this person is not interested in you. They just genuinely want to get to know you. They're not letting lust control them, because they see something deeper with you, if that makes sense, and they're willing to build it. But they also, you have to remember, people have their own lives, especially when you get to a certain age. Like we all have our own lives, and then to bring somebody into that in itself can take time. So don't rush the process, but it's like holding on. Don't allow tower moments or your self-doubt, whatever happened to you in the past, like don't allow that to affect your happiness now. Don't allow it to put you in your head or be anxious. Stop telling everybody your business. I'm telling you, because I think a lot of your anxiety comes from the expectations or the questions that your friends or family or other people are asking you. I want to do the Moonology. Is that oh no, it was sage. I thought it was a sunflower seed. I was like, we don't eat upstairs. How did a sunflower seed get up here? All right, let's see. What's the messages. Adjustments are required, and believe in the impossible. So there's really a need for you to take a fiery climax approaches, but before that can approach, there's a need for you to take a step back and evaluate yourself. Before you react to something, give yourself at least 48 to 72 hours to work through that feeling and make sure that it's valid and something that you should act off of. Or is it you just being in your emotions too much and not balanced enough, or you being in your ego too much, right? Because there's a balance in everything in life. It is a time to give rather than take. So I feel like there's a need for you to take back or step back and realize where your own toxic ways or where you're blocking your own success. And then continuing to believe in the impossible, and not getting so caught up in the end goal, but just those baby steps to get to it. Just start focusing on the baby steps, so that when you're down here trying to reach up here, you're not getting overwhelmed like I'm never going to get there. No, you're just looking, okay, this is the next step. All right, let's get to the next step. And then you'll get there a lot quicker. And just enjoy it. Learn to enjoy the moment. Like I feel like when you have, now we're going back to love, like when you have expectations for somebody to give you a good morning text every morning, or to call you every day, or to FaceTime you every night, like whatever it is, when they don't do it, you get disappointed. But when you don't have that expectation, when they do call, it makes you happy. Like it gives you joy, like, oh, I got to talk to this person, right? So you take a 14:14 on the clock. So you take away the happiness or the joy in it when you set expectations instead of just allowing it to flow naturally. All right. One more card for the overall advice. Overall advice. The moon, see through the illusion, see past the illusion, and this could be even the illusion within your own mind, your own thoughts, your own fears, your own worries. Don't be so defensive. There seems like a little bit of a defensive energy here, maybe because of what you went through in the past, that it's like you're not willing to allow yourself to be vulnerable or really let somebody in. Like, okay, it's one thing to adjust or to not adjust, to see the red flags, but are they all really red flags, or is it just you finding a reason to run and not allow yourself to be vulnerable? You got to call BS on yourself and realize when your own ways are sabotaging you from being vulnerable, from being open to being happy and to being that nurturer. Tapping into that feminine energy, whether you're a male or a female, really being open to your emotions and vulnerability when it comes to love. So if you're having issues when it comes to love or really connecting with somebody and building a relationship, it's because you're refusing to be vulnerable and step into your feminine energy. Because even if you keep running into toxic people, there's something about your own energy that's attracting these people. So what is it about you that you need to change in order to change the type of people that you're attracting to you, or the type of love situations that keep coming in? 555 on the clock, change coming. So there's really a need for you to make adjustments in maybe the type of people you like, or where you go to meet people, or what you look for in a person. Like, take a step back and really write down all the things that you absolutely want in a person and the things that you don't want. And then go through the list and decide whether some of these things are just your ego or your fears, or if they're legit meanings. Like, you don't want your expectations to be too high that you miss out on somebody that could have been the whole package. But you just, sorry, my low battery mode. That could have been the full package, but maybe they didn't have blonde hair. They had brown hair, but they had every other quality that you wanted, that kind of thing. All right, I hope this helps. If you have any questions or you would like a reading, TheLotus.Space is my website, and you can book a reading there. Thanks.